Hello, Happy New Year everybody. It's been a long time, hey. I haven't posted anything for months, mostly because I'm busy building a shed and that's causing me a lot of headache, and I can't find the time to post any videos at the moment because I'm going flat out with a lot of things. So this is a video that is really just documenting what has happened in the last few months, and also since we've just had about 200 millimeters of rain going through here, just to show you what the property looks like. So it's quite incredible how much water we can get through here. I might just turn the camera around and show you the water flow here. So there's a gully that goes through the property, and that gully hasn't been flowing in almost a year. So it's been very dry this dry season, and everyone was talking about the La Nina coming, and I don't know, it took ages. We've almost given up hope that we will get a La Nina. So just to give you an idea, so this is what's going on there right now, and that's usually dry. So it's not been flowing for a very long time, and see, I've even got a little waterfall here. Yeah, so this, what you're seeing here, so that's what the property looked like, and I'm gonna change all that. So this this area here, I'm gonna put a dam in there, and I want to divert the water off here, because you can see how it's eating, the gully has been eaten into the landscape here by the water. So I'm trying to spread the water out a bit more and just reduce the loss of land here, because that's pretty much what's happening. That the water is just biting away at that edge and is just pushing the dirt further down the gully there. So what you can see up the top here, these dark green patches, that's, I call them my new things. They're called islands of fertility. So that's a new strategy now, since I've already put 3 swales above all that. So obviously the catchment is not enough for so many swales, and it gets, every other swale gets less and less water, because the top swales hold the water off. So down below here I needed to find another way to establish plants, and I thought I'm gonna start just like a little bit borrowing from syntropic agriculture, but it's really just mimicking natural ecosystems where you have nursing plants or pioneer plants first. Since most of my fruit trees here are rainforest plants, so they're all, see how windy it is? So there's actually a cyclone coming through here. It's not exactly hitting us, but you can still see that it's impacting quite a bit. So a lot of the fruit trees that I've planted, or like tropical fruit trees in general, are rainforest trees that start their lives in a dense canopy, and then of course it gets way too, oh, let's push these ones over, unfortunately. It gets, so there's a durian for example, and it's reshooting from the bottom now, but it really didn't like the sun exposure. So what I've been trying now is to plant those pigeon peas and make them create shelter. And you can see that that works quite well. The pigeon peas have grown incredibly fast. There's also another tree that I'm planting quite a lot of. It's called the Brazilian fern tree. And then once the pigeon peas are larger, in amongst them I plant fruit trees there. And then at some point the pigeon peas get culled out. So the Brazilian fern trees, they are the most amazing thing. So they're the fastest legume plant in the world. Actually, see, that's what the bandicoots are doing to my garden here, everywhere, all the time. It's kind of tricky to establish anything here, especially in the dry season, because obviously I'm creating these, as I mentioned before, like fertile little islands that are also quite damp because I water them, and then that's the only wet stuff around, and then they come and dig up all of the yummy worms and stuff that's in there. So there's 3 little durians here. See that? I hope the camera gets it sharp. maybe not. Anyway, so there's 3 durians that I might graft together as a multi-stem. And you see those islands here, there's one there, there's one there. And in between there are these fruit trees. There's Mami Sapoti here. And they've also struggled until I put the pigeon peas there. So it really looks like the fruit trees want a bit of canopy first up, and then once they're established I can reduce the shade gradually, meaning I'm gonna just chop the pigeon peas back little by little, and as they are nitrogen fixers, their mulch will then fertilize the soil and also prevent evaporation with as mulch. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted here with the camera. So then the next thing I want to show you. Oh, there, have you heard that? There was a tree. A tree just fell over. Just over there. I hope it's not falling on my shed. So we're right in the middle of it. So that's the swale. So there's one. And that's the bottom swale, right? That one's hardly ever full. And now it's completely chockers. Then there's another one up there I'll walk you through in a second. So there's a sheet of water pretty much flowing across the landscape, covering everything. And this water is coming from the overflow from the bottom swale. My overflows work really well. We've compacted them quite a lot and they're not getting eaten out, so that's working really well. See that? Okay, so I'm gonna walk you a bit further through. So luckily I did mow the grass not long ago because there won't be much mowing for a while now. It's the next swale here. The avocados are going strong and the jackfruits. Tell you what, these things, that plant here, see that? I've planted it at a finger thick less than a year ago and now it's like 2.5 meters tall. There's another one that's even taller. There's banana bunches everywhere. Might just do the little banana bunch walk. See, there's a banana that's almost about to fall over because the bunch is so heavy. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So there's lots of different varieties of bananas. They're all dwarfs. I'm very proud of this one. That's a dwarf red Dhaka, very hard to get a hold of. And the avocados are also growing. Yeah, so as I mentioned, lots of different bananas, mostly sugar bananas. And then there is some strange banana that's a little, like not this one, that's a normal sugar banana, a dwarf. But I think this one over there is kind of like a ladyfinger, but the plant doesn't look anything like a ladyfinger. No, I think this is actually a Cavendish. So there's lots of different ones and I can't remember where I planted which one, but you can see in the back there, all of them have bunches on there. So the bananas really love the arrangement there with the swales, in combination with my soil type here, which is quite heavy, got lots of clay, so it stores a lot of water. And so see, that's the top swale where I've started to plant taro a while ago. And in fact now the kangkong is also making a comeback after a bit of a break during the dry season. Then I've just slashed the guinea grass out of the veggie garden. That was a project. So the guinea grass has pretty much overrun my veggie garden. And since I'm organic and I can't spray, I still don't know how to do that really. I've got to find a way to mattic them out at some point and then mulch over it. So that's also shown me that it was a good idea to mulch the swales, because if I hadn't mulched them, the guinea grass would be everywhere. And I don't mind ground cover, but I do mind grasses because they're nutrient competitors to my fruit trees. Like, they're not creating any nitrogen, they're drawing a lot of nitrogen, and they also favor a different flora of soil organisms. So that's quite an important thing, that I want to favor fungi in the soil, and you can see there's one right there. And grasses favor bacteria dominated soil. So now we get another score of rain coming through here. Yeah, fantastic. So that's charged up the landscape with water. So 200 millimeters means 200 centimeters of soil moisture. So basically 2 meters. So that's pretty much charged up the soil for the rest of the year. I should just show you this jackfruit. That's my absolute champion. So that thing is 3.5 meters. And yeah, it's less than a year in the ground. I think it was in a pot for a year or two, but you see the trunk is like this thick. It's quite incredible how massive those things. And that here's the bandicoot for you. It's digging up something. I don't even know what it dug up there. Let's just fill the soil back in there. I've got a lot of this sambang green. So that's what I was envisaging, and the top swale here looks the best. So you got turmeric and a ground cover that's edible. So eventually I don't want to have the mulch exposed. You know, mulch was pretty much just to get this stuff established, but then it should be a living mulch. And there's turmeric, and there's ginger coming up, and now I've started planting pigeon peas everywhere. I'm actually direct seeding them. That works really well. Through the mulch. They've got a lot of pushing power because the seed is quite large, and it's so fast. So within a week they pop up, and these pigeon peas get... sorry, I should just mention first that in the beginning I had a row of legumes in the middle there, which I still have. So there's lots of pigeon peas, then the Brazilian fern trees, ice cream bean. So I've planted lots of different ones to check which one's the best, and the pigeon pea won the selection. So it's much faster than the ice cream bean. Looks like the ice cream bean just takes way too much water, and during the dry season it's just struggling. But the pigeon pea powers all year round, and so you can see the pigeon peas just keep going all along here. They've given me lots of seeds, and so I've started to pop them in everywhere so that I've got even more of those around, because I can't have enough of this nitrogen-rich mulch, and the middle row wasn't enough for now, so I need more. So you see the guinea grass is taking over in some places, so we'll have to do something about that sooner or later. And then another thing, guys, if you ever get a hold of walking stick lettuce or tree lettuce, make sure it's not the bitter variety, because my problem was one of them went to seed, and I didn't think it was the bitter variety, but it turned out it was. And now have a look at this. Like, this is an absolute weed. It pops up everywhere and keeps popping up, and it was just one plant flower seeding. So millions of seeds, and now I can't really allow any of those ones to flower again, because I want to at some point establish a sweet one. Like, once you got the sweet one established, you'll never get rid of it. Like, it's really, like here in Coranda, I gotta say, tree lettuce is an absolute weed. I mean, it's a good weed to have, I guess, because you can eat it, but just be careful you don't have the bitter one. So the cassava patch still looks quite good as well. And another thing that's grown really well is the meringue over there. I haven't really done much here. That's a Cuban fiberless soursop. And the meringue is also taller than me now. So this is cool. I'm really looking forward to the fruit of that. I love it. Lots of sugar cane. And then one of my flowering gingers has started popping out the torches. It's quite pretty. Yeah, so, and I think I'm gonna round off the picture with a little total view of everything. So just coming in from the driveway pretty much, that's what you're looking at. So everything has grown heaps. It's become a forest already. And again, like I started planting last year in September, right? And now it's January, so we're talking 1 year and 4 months for all of that. I did have a lot of plants established, like in pots, like waiting for a year or two. So most of my fruit trees weren't tiny when they went into the soil. But it's quite incredible how fast everything did grow in the end. I gotta say the swales are probably responsible for most of the growth. And you can see them here, they're working really well. Yeah, so with the swales I think the most important thing is not to catch too much water, not to make them too deep, and to have the overflows, if you have more than one, have them precisely the same height, so that they all overflow at the same time. And that's more like a suck and see kind of thing, because it's very difficult to calculate the flow of water across a landscape. And so it's best to over-dimension those overflows, make them bigger than, like over-engineer them, as they say, just to be safe, because you don't want the swale to break. That would cause a lot of damage, of course, but also a lot of sediment runoff. And as you've seen at my place, eventually all the waterways end up somewhere in a creek that leads to the ocean, and we've already got plenty of sedimentation there. We don't want to contribute to that, I guess. So now that's given you a bit of an idea of what's been happening, and yeah, I hope I can see some of you guys up here again soon. It's a bit tricky with the weather at the moment, but everything's growing really well, and I'm gonna do another working bee to plant out things. So if you want to be part of that, just hit me up. I'll announce it soon. Okay, I hope that was interesting for you guys to watch, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.